It is the 19th day of February 2024. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Daily Report right here on your qualified channel, that is TV47, the home of untold stories. My name is George Maringa. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai. Now tonight we shall be having a riveting conversation with none other than the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni. He is the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. He is my guest tonight on our weekly segment, Power and Politics. Right there, we shall be discussing matters. Of course, what happened over the weekend, we did see the resurgence, or rather the re-emergence of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. He attended a funeral where he spoke about a few things, and we also saw what happened with the response by DP Rigathi Gachagua. Kioni will be telling us also what's happening with the Jubilee Party. We shall also be seeking to find out, is the mountain still restless? Also, are they still in Azimio? You're also wondering what's with the Kamwene Unity Forum? Those questions and much more shall be answered right here on TV47. We invite your feedback as always on X, formerly Twitter. We are at TV47 News. You can tweet me directly at George Maringa _ or at HON Kioni. That is the X handle for Bim Heshimiwa, my guest tonight. But before then, let's get you informed with some of the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, President William Ruto chairs a meeting of his cabinet secretaries and members of the ruling party Kenya Kwanza in Naivasha, Nakuru County, where he advocated for development projects.
We have the numbers, both in the Senate and in the National Assembly, to assist us to change Kenya.
Police in Juja, Kiambu County have arrested 4 robbery suspects accused of killing a guard and stealing goods and alcoholic beverages from a club in the area.
They began executing their heinous act. The police were able to move in.
Plus, detectives in Nairobi are investigating what is believed to be a child trafficking racket after 16 children were rescued from a rented house in the Soweto area of Kayole.
Nikamuuliza watoto ni wangapi, akasema wamefika 60.
I'm sure you've seen the news set. We have a new desk, and of course right here on TV47, we mean business. You can trust TV47 to inform you. We thank you for choosing us to, of course, update you with what's happening. I can confirm to you that the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni is within the premises. We shall be right here on this red table, red and white table to be specific, to discuss matters of importance in this country. The alternative voice is what we're discussing tonight. We look forward to your questions, feedback regarding the show. Let's get the show on the expressway now. And President William Ruto on Monday convened a gathering with Kenya Kwanza MPs and executive members in Naivasha ahead of a pivotal vote on the housing levy in Parliament. During the gathering, Ruto reiterated his economic agenda, expressing his dedication to alleviating the national debt, broadening the tax base and minimizing borrowing. And as our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru now tells us, the president shrugged off criticism, asserting his confidence in steering Kenya Kwanza, or rather Kenya, towards greater achievements. Take a look.
The meeting held at Lake Naivasha Resort Monday aimed to rally the Kenya Kwanza leaders to support the government's plan to deduct 1.5% of every employed Kenyan salary to fund their affordable housing projects.
We will implement the housing program. I don't want to say by whatever means possible. I have just said we will implement. We will. because it is what other progressive countries have done.
President Ruto took the opportunity to give Kenyans hope about better days ahead, citing efforts he says he has made, urging leaders to collaborate in their work as Kenyans who are watching.
I want to urge you that let us not waste this moment.
We must all be united and must focus to do whatever it takes to make sure that the president delivers to the people of Kenya.
Ruto defended his economic agenda, stating that he was committed to reducing the national debt, expanding the tax base, and minimizing borrowing. He also brushed aside his critics, expressing confidence in taking Kenya to even greater heights.
The last 1 year has seen us do very many things. And it has not happened because of myself and my deputy, or with the ministers alone, or with the members of parliament alone. We've done this together.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who also attended the meeting, criticized former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who recently criticized the Kenya Kwanza style of governance.
We need to engage all the time so that we are all looking at things the same way, because we serve the people of Kenya and we all belong to the same administration.
National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah urged Kenya Kwanza MPs to vote for the Affordable Housing Bill.
Then on Friday, it will commence its life in the Senate, and we should also be able to conclude on it expeditiously, so that perhaps by the end of the month, God willing, we have a new housing bill, affordable housing bill.
Ichung'wah also used the opportunity to show Kenya Kwanza leaders' readiness to support Azimio leader Raila Odinga in his bid for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission.
He has put his bid to be nominated for a position in AU as a Kenyan, and we shall treat the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as a Kenyan and support his bid as a Kenyan.
Tomorrow and Wednesday, President Ruto will hold a meeting with his ministers to review the progress made since last meeting like this one in a nuclear year ago. Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Thank you, Willie Dennis, for that. And of course, we shall be picking the mind of my guest tonight regarding that retreat and what it portends, especially from his viewpoint. The Honorable Jeremiah Kioni is in studio. That conversation with him coming up in a short while. 4 suspects linked to robbery with violence, reportedly resulting to the death of a guard at a newly established entertainment joint, are behind bars following a thwarted robbery attempt with crude weapons recovered from the suspects. Police have revealed the criminals have been on the radar of police officers following complaints of hangout joints being raided by armed robbers. The arrest comes weeks after TV47 highlighted a plea for heightened security in the areas of Ruiru and Juja by residents, as Moiga William now reports.
Monday, police in Kiambu cracked into a syndicate of armed robbers who have been targeting bar owners and stealing expensive alcoholic drinks. This follows the arrest of 4 suspected robbers who dared to rob an entertainment joint in Kimbo, situated opposite a GSU camp.
So watu wale mnikiangalia mmoja wao niona ni jamaa huaga anacheza puru hapa kwangu. So ni mmoja ni customer hapa, so ni watu ambao wanajua vile kitu wanafanya. Ndio nikiangalia naona jamaa mmoja kama nilikuwa nimemwona hapa usiku kabla nitoke.
Every information that this is the place they intended to attack. So as soon as they began executing their heinous act, the police were able to move in, and you can see the result of that stakeout.
These suspected robbers who reportedly killed a guard at the newly established Midnight Gardens are said to have switched off electricity and later disconnected a standby generator, which is the club's alternative source of power, before they tied the guard on duty with a rope and killed him using a power-enhanced metallic club.
I know there's a fatality that has happened this morning, and it's been caused by this gang. The murder weapon is right there.
According to Kiambu County Police Commander Michael Moshiri, police have been trailing the criminals for some time after they successfully conducted 6 similar raids at newly established clubs in the county. All this while conducting the operations with a Toyota Voxy car fitted with fake number plates.
These people using crude weapons, they are able to attack, the management and steal, alcoholic products. We can see there are sacks there where they are able to stuff these products.
Mid-January, TV47 reported a spike in robbery incidences where the perpetrators, a group of 4 men operating in a white and black Toyota Voxy cars, targeted entertainment joints along the developing areas of Kiambu and Juja.
The same group of people using the same resources, motor vehicles, and same methods of access, gaining access, and infiltrating, of course, our penetrating our security measures.
Sasa tuseme wametupeleka hasara ya takriban milioni 3. Yule stock nilikuwa nimeweka hapa kwa hiyo counter ilikuwa roughly 3 point somewhere. Yeah.
Na ningetaka kusii wale watu wote wanaweka biashara hapa wa invest in technology. Na wakiweka technology wanakuja wanajulisha wale vitengo wa serikali wale wako hapa.
CCTV footage analyzed by TV47 showed at least 3 premises that have been broken into by the same crew of robbers, at least in the same vehicles, a white Toyota and a black Voxy car, which had its number plates changed. Mwege William, TV47.
Thank you, Moige, for that report. Now, should government employees' retreat and trainings remain uncontrolled, President William Ruto's decision to save at least 300 billion shillings for a fiscal year could be rendered null and void. Pundits say the government's official commitment to lessening the burden of high salaries is necessary for the reduction of the financial rate that was set in October last year. Yet, this is all taking place when cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries and Kenya Kwanza lawmakers are in Naivasha for a cabinet retreat and a parliamentary group meeting. Mike Kagwongo reports.
In the current fiscal year, President William Ruto's government agencies were instructed to reduce their spending by 10% in order to better balance their budgets against the available funds. The orders were given by the head of state as part of austerity measures to make sure that state agencies could respond to the global economic downturn. As most Kenyans go through difficult financial circumstances, Head of Public Service and Chief of Staff Felix Kosgei stated in a message to Cabinet Secretaries and Principal Secretaries in October last year that suspending non-essential foreign travel was intended to reduce public spending.
What's the cost of taking the president to Naivasha? Gachagua entered there with 30 vehicles. Musalia Mudavadi has to be there, isn't it? With 15. Any minister going there is going with 7. Any PS carries 5. This is 1.5 billion to the least. So if by 4 times, you are talking about something like 6 billion shillings spent by Kenya Kwanza so far on these retreats.
Along with suggesting that government officials utilize fewer public monies to carry out his plan, the president also proposed that instead of squandering millions of shillings on extravagant hotels, government institutions like the Kenya School of Government in Kabete may be used for trainings and inductions.
Let me first come to you, Kagwongo.
However, government spokesman Isaac Mora argues that occasionally using government facilities could end up costing more than planned, which is why people choose to utilize private facilities away from Nairobi.
Sometimes you can spend more money in a government facility than a private one. That I can assure you. So like if, for example, we said all of us to go to Mombasa for a government facility there, it will be expensive. It will be expensive. There is a convenience in Naivasha that is better and it's away from Nairobi. And I don't think government has got a very big facility that can accommodate the national executive and the PG at the same time.
Strangely enough, though, state officials, cabinet secretaries and MPs, among others, have been spending a significant amount of public funds on retreats and inductions in Nanyuki, Mombasa, and now in Naivasha throughout the last 1 year. A quick search online for hotel reservations at the hotel the cabinet secretaries and Kenya Kwanza MPs are said to be occupying in Naivasha averages thousands per night. This multiplied by about 500 government officials will give an average cost of millions for 4 days. The cabinet secretaries and their teams are entitled to per diem allowances, which will also come to millions of shillings for 4 days.
If they are like Naivasha is an entrepreneur, that entrepreneur, he has connection with the government. They will not allow, because these people also spend money to campaign for a government. So they are spending this money in exchange for business. So it is all corrupted system.
According to the Office of Controller of Budget, the government, which assumed office in September 2022, spent 14 billion shillings on domestic and international travel in total, the most for a comparable time frame in at least 5 years.
Go to any rural village or hospital, there is no even Panadol, even Brufen is not there. How can we not have Brufen and we have unnecessary meetings that we are having? So we are investing so much on salaries, allowances, per diems, transport, logistics, and no money is going to development.
This is happening at a time when the Salaries and Remunerations Commission has expressed concerns about government wastage, with salaries and benefits taking up a sizable portion and leaving little for development. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that report. I can see your questions coming, especially regarding that austerity measures. We shall be having, of course, that discussion in a short while with my guest, the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni. Detectives are probing a suspected child trafficking racket following the rescue of 16 children from a rented house in Kayole's Soweto area on Sunday. The rescue mission commenced following a report filed by a children's protection officer from Embakasi Central constituency at the Soweto police station, alerting authorities to the children's presence in the rented premises. Natasha Wairimu with more details.
Nilikuwa nasikia tu akisema sijui ni orphans, watoto mayatima. Sasa hapo siku nilisikia tu ni orphans, ambapo nilisikia tu akisema wengine sijui wanaokotwa wakiwa wamezaliwa wadogo.
After a child protection officer filed a report on a suspected child trafficking racket that was happening in Soweto area in Kayole, a serious operation was initiated by the criminal investigation officers in Nairobi.
Mzazi nataka mtoto, nimepoteza mtoto, nimepitia vitu nyingi kwa sababu ya huyu mtoto. So I expected nikuje, polisi aniambie watoto wako hapa, mtu aone mtoto wake, upatiane rishiti yenye inaonyesha ni mtoto wako na usaidike, but hatujapata any help. Polisi hawajatusaidia.
Inside the house that is located in the Soweto area of Kayole, 16 children were rescued on Sunday, a clear indication of the trafficking business that was going on.
Tumeambiwa tungoje, lakini hatujaonyeshwa wale watoto. Tumeambiwa Wednesday, kuanzia Wednesday ndio tuende tukaangalia watoto pande ya Mama Lucy Hospital.
According to the police, the 54-year-old Tanzanian national who was found to be managing the rented house was unable to provide details about how the children got to that house, and he is alleged to be deeply involved. Further investigations are underway as authorities work to uncover the circumstances surrounding the situation and ensure the safety and well-being of the children involved. For TV47, I am Natasha Wairimu.
Thank you, Natasha, for that. Kakamega Senator Bonnie Halwale has filed a defamation lawsuit against Cleophas Shimanyula, also known as Toto, who criticized the post-mortem exercise results of the late Kizito Amukune, who was an employee of Senator Halwale, linking him to his death. Halwale, through his lawyer Dunstan Omari, is seeking an order on preventing Toto from disseminating defamatory remarks about him, his family, and the late employee. The senator claims that Toto went on spreading malicious rumors despite demands for an apology within 48 hours or a minimum compensation of 200 million shillings.
February 2024, we came before you after serving Mr. Cleophas Shimanyula, aka Toto, with a demand letter where we put it to him that unless he apologized within 48 hours, we will take stern action by commencing a civil suit before the Honorable Court, in which we'll be demanding a sum total of 200 million shillings in form of compensation to our client, Dr. Boni Halwale, the Honorable Senator of the people of Kakamega.
He thought Dr. Boni Halwale is among those guys who do demands and don't implement. We have filed, so we have lived to the expectation of what Boni Halwale is. Number two, why did we file at the High Court? The amount of money Dr. Boni Halwale is seeking, 200 million, the jurisdiction of a magistrate's court ends at 20 million. So that is why we have come to the High Court to file that matter there.
Today, as a member of and a voter of Kakamega County, I'm so saddened and feel very bad on behalf of Mheshimiwa's children and wives. And I pray that in future, such things should not happen to any other person who's has worked hard to maintain his image, who has worked hard to attain what Mheshimiwa has attained.
2 people have died while another one survived after falling from a crane which they were using to paint a 6-story building in Makutano shopping area in Meru town. The 2 fell hard on the ground while the third one managed to survive by holding himself on one of the windows. Imenti North Sub-County Police Commander Ezekiel Chepkwon said investigations into the matter have started. He also urged those working on construction sites to be extra careful.
Ya leo tulikuwa na ajali ilitokea upande wa Makutano kwa mjengo moja ambayo iko opposite Nevada. Kuna watu walikuwa na paka rangi kwa hiyo nyumba katika ghorofa la 4, na ile mashine wanatumia ya kupandisha na kuteremka ambaye ni crane ilikatika na watu wawili wakaanguka chini wakava hapo, lakini mtu wa 3 aliweza kusurvive. So it was an unfortunate incident ambayo haikutarajiwa, na my appeal to those who are doing construction be very careful and take safety of the workers very seriously to avoid such an incident which occurred today.
Building specifications ambaye mtu anafaa kuwa na gumboots, awe na helmet. It seems these people, they don't have an helmet. So the safety belts zile za kujifunga inaonekana hakuna.
Revenue from the agricultural sector could be boosted by $200 million when and if farmers focus on value addition of produce before exportation. Agri-Country President John Macharia says with a steadily growing population, food producers.
The current maize harvest of the last season stands at 44 million bags, while the population, according to the United Nations, is at 55,794,418 as at 18th of February.
In Kenya, the per capita consumption is between 98 and 103 kilograms per annum. With 1 million mouths to feed, this translates to a demand of anywhere between 98 and 103,000 metric tons of extra food that needs to come to the table every year.
What does this mean? That Kenya cannot, in essence, feed her entire population based on the agricultural production in the country.
This focus is aligned to the government priority with a specific focus on food and nutrition security, manufacturing, and specifically the agro-processing and MSMEs for various enterprises where the government intends to generate over $200 million annually in value addition.
The food deficit is in sharp contrast of the dependence the country has on agriculture, a sector that contributes to about a third of the gross domestic product. Due to this, farmers are being urged to adopt new technology and recommended farming practices to meet the growing demand.
All these add more pressure in an environment that is already producing less than is needed. We therefore need to help farmers and agriculture stakeholders to build resilience to climate change issues.
This as the government eyes value addition in various sectors to boost exportation and farmer returns.
And also helping farmers through reducing post-harvest losses, and also opening up value additions and new markets for our agriculture. We have everything. We have the weather, we have the soil, and we have everything else that farmers need, and we have the network of all international players. Whatever we don't have, we always have the trade network.
The ambitious plan seeks to boost value-added tea from the current 1% to 5% as its foreign popularity increases. From value addition alone, the government is able to generate an additional $200 million in revenue. This as the Ministry of Agriculture now focuses on reducing post-harvest losses so that farmers can get the most from their produce. Hibak Said for TV47 Nairobi.
Thank you, Hibak, for that. The State Department of Energy has raised the alarm over continued vandalism of electricity infrastructure, costing the government 2 billion shillings in the last 6 months. The State Department's Principal Secretary, Alex Washira, has now called on the public vigilance in safeguarding such infrastructure, especially transformers. He said this in Murang'a County while commissioning a transformer to a coffee mill set to be functional within 2 weeks.
We lost a total of 894 transformers, costing an average of about 2 billion shillings. It is too much as a cost, as a O&M cost, to be borne by one company called Kenya Power, which we all own as individual citizens. So we are calling upon you as an individual citizen, please help us protect our critical infrastructure.
And my commitment as a ministry in the government, we will support the union and we will come to you because we want to create an initiative that we are calling One Ward, One Cooperative, or anchored allowed coffee cooperatives in the coffee regions, and in other regions will actually be